Hi, I'm Leezá Steindorf. I'm an international leadership coach, a member of the Forbes Coaches Council, and I've helped thousands of leaders unlock power they didn't even know they've had. And today we're going to talk about that moment, right after the celebration fades. You got the job. Now what? It's exciting and also a little terrifying because now it's real. The expectations, the pressure, the feeling that you have to somehow prove yourself worthy of the opportunity that you've already earned. So let's make sure you walk in on day one with clarity and confidence and a plan because you're literally not there to perform. You're there to belong and show up. All right, let's start with clarity and the fact that you don't need to prove yourself because you already belong. Yeah? What I mean by that is the first thing to understand is that you've already been chosen, right? That means the people who hired you have already seen something they trust. They value what you bring or they believe in you and what you're doing. So you don't need to start your first week trying to prove you deserve to be there. You need to own that. They hired you. And the biggest trap new professionals fall into, especially ambitious and hardworking ones, is hustling for their worthiness. You can hustle for the work, you can go faster, be bigger, work harder if you want to, but you don't need to do that for your worthiness. Worthiness is not on the job description. You are worthy, you bring that. What's needed now isn't performance, it's your presence. And you don't have to have all the answers. You need to show up with all of yourself. Be curious, be grounded, and be willing to learn. So instead of thinking, oh, I got to make a great impression, or, oh, what are they going to think of me if this, that, or the other thing? Try this out. Try saying to yourself, I'm here to understand how this place works and how I can contribute in a meaningful way. And that subtle shift away from feeling like all eyes are on you and you have to perform to wanting from the inside out, wanting to understand and to contribute in a way that's useful to others and to the company, that's a powerful shift. And it takes the pressure off and it creates a calm focus. So I'm going to offer you a little mini practice. Before you log in or walk into your first meeting, take a breath and say silent to yourself, they already said yes. And let that land. Like let it land in your body, your mind. And that's clarity, knowing that you belong there before you even walk into that situation. All right, let's talk about ownership. And this is something that you can set from the very first day. And ownership, the way I speak about it, is owning your behavior, owning your thoughts, owning your experience 100%. Nobody else's, just yours. So now that you're in, your next job is to show up with ownership. And it doesn't mean pretending that you know everything. It means really being intentional about how you learn and how you're engaging and how you're going to build a relationship and build trust. It's being intentional with who you are in your work environment as a professional. So here's what that can look like, right? In a practical way. Ask clear questions, not filler questions to look like you're busy, but really take a moment and think about it. And then pose thoughtful questions that show that you are really considering what's going on and you want to contribute. Next one is to take notes, like literally take notes, hand notes in your computer, what have you, because you'll forget half of what you hear. And writing it down shows that you are present and you have a maturity, you're keeping this, and it helps you remember. Another point is don't try and fake it. I know there's fake it till you make it. You can bring that energy, but you earn more respect by saying, I'm not sure of that yet. Can you walk me through this? Or I don't have the answer to that, but I'm going to find it out. I'll get back to you by whatever time, right? That shows you're engaged. You may not have the information readily handy, but you're going to get it done. Okay. And the last thing is to say thank you. Gratitude, right? Be appreciative of the support you get, the contributions others bring when you're participating in a process. That gratitude builds alliances much faster than your performance does. All right. So every conversation you have is actually shaping your reputation, it's building relationships, and it's building trust. And you're not doing that to be impressive, right? You're building something that's of value that you're going to gain from, and so will your environment and your colleagues. You're not there to show up perfectly, but it is important that you show up as coachable, right? That people know, they know you're new to the job, right? Whether it's your first job or whether it's a new company, of course they know that you're new. So if you're showing that you're coachable and you want to learn, wow, that's worth a lot. And that difference is what leaders notice. People will recognize, hey, go check with them. They're willing to help. They've got it going, right? So here's a mini practice for you. At the end of your day, just ask yourself, did I show up with curiosity today? Or was I just getting by? And ownership lives in curiosity. It's owning the experience in a way that you're really excited about. All right, let's talk about resolution. And this is something you can actually focus on. It's bringing things together that maybe aren't totally aligned, like you're new, but you want to do a good job. So let's get tactical about that. What should you actually do in your first month? All right. So here's a couple places that you can focus your energy so you can grow roots and not just be worried about making an impression. Okay, so here's a couple points. The first one is find your allies. Identify one or two people whom you feel comfortable with, who seem generous with their knowledge, people who generally want others to succeed. You'll figure that out quickly. These are the colleagues who will quietly support you when you need it the most. So get to know them, build relationship with them, find your allies. All right. The next one is to learn the real culture, right? So they have the mission statement, they have the monthly meetings or the weekly meetings, what have you. Every company has the written rules and the unspoken ones. Watch for how people actually communicate. How do they make their decisions? How do they handle mistakes? That's the real manual. And take those notes, like literally take them down. So you start to learn how things are functioning there. Another one is track your wins. Track them. Keep literally a running document of all of your accomplishments, small ones, big ones, projects that you completed, feedback that you received, new systems that you've learned. When you get to the review time, you're going to be grateful that you've kept a list of that. And the last thing I'd like to suggest is to reflect weekly. Ask yourself, what did I learn this week? What do I still not understand? What do I need to pay attention to, right? That kind of awareness, it's powerful and it keeps that sense of being an imposter far at bay. And if you do these habits, they'll quietly build a sense of confidence in yourself that you're navigating the way you want to navigate and in the way that is respectful to yourself. And self-doubt goes out the window. Really, you don't even need to give yourself a pep talk when you're engaging in an intentional manner like that. Yeah. So here's a mini practice for you. Create a in your notes on your phone. Create a section of one-line lessons. One-line lessons. And at the end of each day, jot one insight that you gained, something you learned about yourself, about other people, about process, um, new way of navigating, whatever it is, something that you've learned that day, and keep that under the one-line lessons. And at the end of the month, actually read that through. Like set a time in your calendar to read through your one-line lessons, and you will see how far you come month to month and how much you've learned. And that builds that confidence in yourself and that trust in yourself. Okay, let's talk about excellence. And I'd like to emphasize that the way I speak about excellence, it's not about being perfect, it's not about being polished, it's about bringing your highest and your best. And here's the truth that most people miss. Starting a job is not about proving you can do the work, okay? It's about proving you can grow into the work. You're going to learn it. Anytime you walk into something that's brand new, you're going to have to learn. And showing that you're willing to do that, that you're going to grow into that and do it well, that's excellence. No one expects you to be extraordinary right away, but they're going to notice if you're willing, if you're coachable, if you're willing to ask questions, if you if you bring in effort and you try, if you're willing to make mistakes and then get back up again, or say, I need some help, I don't understand, or let's do this together. That's what builds credibility and trust. Not trying to be perfect. It's the consistency and the commitment. And here's what's beautiful. That willingness, that open, grounded energy, it's magnetic. It's like people remember that. People want to participate in that. It's what gets you invited into bigger rooms, bigger projects, bigger opportunities. So don't aim to impress. That should not be your goal. You should really aim to integrate by bringing your full self to the table. Excellence isn't about standing out. It's really about standing tall and standing well. All right. So let's make this real. Drop a comment below. Tell us what's your biggest fear or your biggest win as you're starting a new job. Would love to hear from you. Go ahead and like the video and subscribe to the channel. And you can also share it with someone else who's stepping into a new role right now. And remember, your new job isn't just a position. You're actually building a foundation. And when you build with clarity and calm and ownership and that excellence, you're not just starting something. You're actually building a legacy for yourself. Trust yourself.